Alright, peace and goodness, YouTubers. Okay, so, BET Honors 2015. Let me tell you all about the experience I did not have. If y'all only knew the levels of salt that was in my bloodstream because I did not get to attend this year. It's such a long story, but anyway, if you follow me, you know that I go every year. I've gone every year since like 2010, and I always like to share my experience about the award show and talk about all the stuff that we never get to see on TV. This year, there was just a whole lot of things going on. One, I was already still dealing with a family emergency, so I almost missed the registration deadline, and I still registered. Somehow there's a technicality, and I got registered for NFL honors that take the following week in Phoenix, and I said, oh, great. So basically, I didn't get in, and I was livid. Like, they taped it in January, and that whole day they taped, I was just salty the whole day. Like, this is the worst January 24th ever. Like, I was so pissed. And what made it worse was like 2 or 3 of my friends got in, and I'm like, how the hell y'all got in? Y'all ain't tell about it. Y'all didn't look out for me. It's like that? Oh, okay, cool. And then of course, you know, on Facebook, I gotta watch all the pictures everybody posted. Oh, look at me with so-and-so. Look at me, I got to sit next to this person. Look at me, I shook hands with so-and-so. And I'm just looking, scrolling. I'm so happy for you. Anyway, I'm just playing. So let me talk about what we saw on television. Ooh, I was so mad. But okay, so I always love BET Honors because it's always such a great presentation of just we as a people, and I'm talking about black people. I just love us. I love everything about us, and I love how we're celebrated on this program. Now, BET is a network that I'm always iffy with, and I've made my videos and shared my 2 cents about the network, but there's a few things that BET always does right. BET Honors and Black Girls Rock. It used to be the BET Awards until about 2005. They started losing me. But those 2 things, and also, well, Celebration of the Gospel is now canceled, but it would have been those 3 things. But, you know, so BET Honors is always really great because you really get to celebrate and embrace those who have paved the way and, you know, done many innovative things and creative things while they're still here. You know, we don't wait till they kick the bucket to honor them. So that's really admirable, BET. I rock with y'all for that. So, Wayne Brady hosted again. Now, I have a loyalty to Gabrielle Union, but Wayne Brady is a very funny host. He probably is actually a better host than Gabrielle. But, you know, his opening was really funny. And Wayne Brady can kind of get it, though, with the dance. And he was killing that. Like, I was like, get it, Wayne. So he did the opening. That was fun to watch. Let me get into the actual tribute. So the first person that they tribute was Janetta B. Cole, and she has a really great history behind her. I've never heard of her, so you know, getting to know about what she's been able to contribute and being the president of 2 HBCUs, and you know the work that she did with the Smithsonian African Art Museum, and it's crazy because I didn't realize that she's in DC. Like, you know, the Smithsonian Art Museum is like down the street from where I live, so I was like, oh, that's cool. So I've been there before, and I probably ran into her a few times because I've been there for a bunch of different like chartering programs and stuff that they've been doing with some of the community partners I work with, and I'm like, I probably shook this woman's hand and didn't even know. So that's cool. And I really enjoyed the quote that she said from Nelson Mandela about the education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. I was like, that's right, educate us, as Kim Kardashian sits in the front row. Education! But I ain't mad, Kim, you do you. Neo performed. The song actually, I'm guessing that's on his new album, but I really enjoyed the song. I like the song. It was kind of fun though. He talking about sexy this and sexy in your body and all this, and I'm looking at Felicia Rashad the entire time like, all right, maybe this wasn't the right song for this type of event, but cool. He sounded great. The band, listen, the house band was on it tonight. That entire band arrangement, background vocalist, they were just on it because you know all the entertainers use the same band. They always use the same band every year, but they were on point. Like that was a great. Whoever was in charge, y'all. And I was pissed because I was trying to see the credits to see who was in it, but BET freaking went straight to commercial to show the B and Mary Jane preview right after and turned off all the credits. So I'd be real pissed if I was up there singing and riffing in the background, telling everybody to check for me, and I don't even get my name credited. Anyway, then they did the John W. Thompson tribute, and his was actually, I had never heard of him either, so I'm just getting all educated today. Usually I know who all people are, but not this time. I was learning. So it was great to know about the things that he did with Microsoft, and I can't even think of the name of the, is it Systematic Simpson? Y'all know what it is, the yellow company, they get the virus stuff all in the computers and all that stuff. Them. Great to know that he did all that, and like, he's like me. When he started talking about his parents and getting choked up, I was like, okay, maybe I'm not the only person that does that. I guess I'm just, I don't know. Something happened like some years back, and now I'm like, I don't want to say I'm a crybaby. Anytime I start thinking about family members and stuff like that, I just be all choked up and stuff like that. So I'm like, shh. Huh. But what I enjoyed about his speech was that it was very, I want to say like progressively motivating and just helping you to understand the importance of knowing when to, I'll definitely say, knowing when to evaluate your surroundings and knowing when you have to take opportunities when they're there. And when he said a bit about, you know, being at the company at IBM and knowing that, you know, there's not going to be room for opportunity and growth here, I need to step out. And I think a lot of times we're always afraid to leave our comfort zone. That's something I'm battling now, even in my career. I'm like, okay, I think I'm as high as I can possibly get here. It's time to move on. And, you know, so I'm just, all these different signs are telling me. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's time for me to take a hint. But what he did with that was very inspiring. I really enjoyed his speech. And so great, good job for you. And then they got to Charlie Wilson's performance. And now, I will say, this is probably one of my favorite moments of the show. What I enjoyed is, everybody knows Uncle Charlie. And Uncle Charlie is just so universally appealing to all different age groups. So it's like, even the kids I work with know Uncle Charlie, you know. So it was great watching that and just watching the entire energy in the entire Warner Theater just shift and everybody's just loose and having a good time. And that's kind of what it's about. Like, we as a people are a very celebratory group of people, and we know how to have a good time. And we know how to, you know, lift up those in our community who are well-deserving. And we also know how to not be so uptight and be so tight-faced and plain and boring like the Oscars usually are. We just, you know, we know how to do, we know how to turn up. And I said that on Twitter yesterday when I was watching the Oscars. I'm like, anything that we show up at, we just bring a certain energy to. And I'm not trying to turn this into a pro-black, we are Africa, we are the earth, but dang, I'm just saying, every time we step foot on anything, yes. Yes, my people. So Charlie Wilson was great, and he brought out Kanye, and Kanye did his bit. And once again, it was entertaining watching Felicia Rashad, because Felicia's kind of like, oh, you know, like Felicia is just unfazed by everything at this point, because she's just done everything. So there's not much you can do to entertain her. She's like, okay, cool, all right, yeah. Like, I don't know if you remember that thing they had on the OWN network where it was like Felicia, Gabrielle Union, Viola Davis, and I think Alfre Woodard, and they were having like just a discussion about women in acting, and Felicia said all the 3 words, was just sitting there like she was ready to go. Like she, you know, like her MacGyver DVDs were waiting for her when she got home, so she just, cool, but I love Felicia. Anyway, K.Michelle performed, great performance. I've never heard the song either. I guess that's on her new album. I'm falling behind on music, y'all. So I'm going to have to check some of these people's music, but I enjoyed her performance. And I'm so glad she got off that Love and Hip Hop show. I think it gives her an outlet to build her brand, because I feel like staying on that show would have kept her limited. So I think it's really smart that she got off that show, because it's starting to, you see the type of events she's starting to be invited to, all right? So that's cool. Kanye, you know, they honored Kanye, and I believe that his, you know, him receiving his honors was very well deserved, because as crazy as Kanye is, Kanye has done a lot, and Kanye is very creative and very innovative, and he's always, you know, jumping outside the boundaries. Now, this is what pissed me off about not being there. I wanted to witness the craziness for myself. Because first it was bad enough I had to find out I wasn't getting into the award show. Then when I found out who they were honoring, they're like, okay, it's going to be, you know, Janetta B. Cole. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I don't know who that is, but that's great, excellent. And then like John W. Thompson, great, cool, I don't really know him either, but great. And he said, Usher. I said, oh, dang, I miss Usher. Well, I just saw him in concert, so, okay, cool. They're like, oh, and then Felicia Rashad. Oh, and by the way, Kanye. And he's probably bringing Kim. Like, I was so pissed, y'all. Anyway, so Kanye gets his award. Great, cool, lots of fun. What I was lost on, Mr. West, was the speech. I didn't know what to take from it. It was almost a letdown, because I don't know if you were, I don't know. I thought he was going somewhere. I thought when he started talking about the, you know, us idolizing the cars and this and that, I thought he was about to talk about financial literacy and us learning to value what we bring to the table and to value what we can contribute to society in the long term. And I don't know, it seemed like it was a speech about him justifying why he's with his wife. And that's cool. If you want to be with Kim, you be with Kim. But you tell Kim, the next time that Felicia Rashad or Charlie Wilson or somebody is performing, you will not clap. 4 times. You better give more than 4 claps. I looked at her a few times. But anyway, because she did crack me up too. Because like when Charlie Wilson was performing, it was kind of like, oh, I love Freddie Jackson. He's great. Yeah, this is great. Great. Like she'd be looking so out of place sometimes, but that's cool. You know it. So I don't know. His speech just threw me off a bit. I was like, I don't know where you're going with this, Kanye. But I'm really happy you received your award. And I don't know. I'm wondering if there were bits that maybe didn't make the air and they cut it. Because they do that sometimes. When they did the Beverly Kearney speech, she did this whole bit about Barack Obama because it was right before the election. And they cut all that out. So maybe he had some other stuff they cut out. But I don't know. But Kanye, you do you. Well deserved. You and your 80,000 Grammys. We appreciate you. Oh, Lord. Then I had a praise break. When they did the bit about, when Wayne Brady was talking about Felicia Rashad on the Cosby Show when she did the bit with Spelman and Morehouse, and then they actually had Howard University Choir and Spelman's Choir come out and say, that was just, to be a Howard alum, I just, bless you God, bless you Black Jesus. That was so good. Just warmed my heart. Like, I think she felt that too, because she was boo-hooing and crying. I said, I've never seen Felicia Rashad be moved by anything. So I'm like, yeah, y'all did good with that one, BET. That was a really smart move. It was just great. And just for anybody who's ever gone to HBCU, you would understand the euphoria you feel anytime you see something of that caliber just presented before you. It's just something you can't even explain, because your memories of just your experience at whatever HBCU you've attended, it's just, if you had a good experience, it's just something that you, gosh, I really enjoyed it. That's probably my favorite moment of the entire night. It was so good. And then getting to Felicia Rashad, because, you know, they honored her, and Felicia has my heart. Let me tell you how much of, I don't want to say stand, because I only stand for Jesus and Obama, depending on what day of the week it is, and Janet. Me and Felicia don't personally know each other, but she and I go back, like most of you. And there was a time when she came to Howard and she was doing the Charter Day address. And Howard had these like promotional posters in all of the dormitories, and I made sure to steal one. So like I was looking at this the other day. Miss Felicia, what day is this? This is, oh, I'm showing my age, man. This is what, March, where's the date? March 13, 2009? Yeah, like I stole one. I think my friend, I don't want to say her name because I don't want her going to jail with me. I had her take one, and I've had this ever since. So I just hold on to this and a few other things, just to keep me motivated about life and all that great stuff. So I really love that she got honored. She had a great, you know, a wonderful speech in education, again, most emphasis on education. And, you know, by the way, Debbie Allen needs to be honored too. It would have been cool if they would have given both of them honors, because Debbie Allen has done just, I don't want to say just as much because that sounds comparative, but Debbie Allen has done so many things that are just as amazing, you know. So definitely I would like to see her get honored soon too. But Felicia was great. It was great that they had Diahann Carroll come out. And it was cool that they talked about the Julia show, because I remember watching that. There was like a VH1 special or something years ago, and they were talking about that show. And that's how I learned who Diahann Carroll was, talking about like her being the first Black woman to have you know, a leading role in a television show. So that was cool, and I think it was just very humbling to see, like, when you watch people that you look up to almost turn into children as they see the people that they look up to, it's always motivating. So to see Felicia just get so hype about Diahann Carroll, I was like, that's awesome. That's really awesome. And Mary J. Blige's performance was great. And you know what's cool about Mary J. Blige? Mary J. Blige has looked 31 since she was in middle school. Like, it's not an insult. It's like, some people just always look the same and never look different. Like, Gabrielle Union, to me, has always looked the same, no matter what year it is. People say that about Pharrell. But Mary J. Blige has just always looked like Mary J. Blige to me. Like, I feel like she can put on the baseball cap and the White Sox or Yankees jersey, and we can be at the Real Love video. Like, Mary just always looks the same to me. And that must be some good genes or something. But she performed. I like the song. I'm guessing that's on her album too. Like, I'm just late with the music, y'all. I gotta get it together. Mary's performance was great. I'm skipping the Usher part. I gotta come back to that. Usher. They honored Usher. Usher is somebody who I said, and I said this in my R&B is Dead series, that, you know, for some reason, I feel like he's underrated, even though he's sold so many records and stuff. I feel like Usher is supposed to be at the same caliber that Beyonce is, because they come from the same era. He came out a few years earlier than her, but I don't know, something just always threw me off. I feel like Usher he's a little underrated sometimes. Even though the accolades in the record book say differently, you know, I I just see him being bigger than what he currently is right now, you know. But that's another conversation. But it was great that they honored him. He was really humble about it. Great speech, great backstory about how he got to where he is, and it was great that Bobby Brown came out and, you know, that his childhood person. Like, I know if I ever amounted to something in entertainment and I was receiving some like comedy award, if they had Chris Rock come out or Sinbad, I'd be there boo-hooing. All right, boo-hooing. But that was great. And then they had Trey Songz perform. Now, because this is supposed to be a celebratory event, I will not speak ill of my people. So when it comes to the Trey Songz performance, the band was so good. The background vocals were so good. The song that Trey Songz sang was such a throwback and so good, and just took me back to 4th grade. Trey Songz' outfit was great, you know. His performance was decent. It was cool. It was great. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was great. Great song. Great job. Great job, Trey Songz. Great job. I wish I could have been there for sound check. Like, that's the cool thing. Like, when you go as a seat filler, you always get to be at the sound check and see all the performances and all the stuff that they're doing beforehand. You get to see the mess ups and stuff. I would kill to see that. Because I told y'all, when I went in 2010, oh Lord, him and Indiari, them two were giving me a headache. But anyway, another conversation. So, great show overall. Very just motivating, inspiring. I always love watching this because I always feel like, oh, I gotta go do something important now. You know, so that's great. And I'll say, BET got it right with this one. They did really good. I enjoyed this one actually more than last year's. And I was at last year's. And it's probably because my experience last year was so horrible. Like, I'm telling you, they ran out of seats randomly in the middle of the show. And I had to stand out in the lobby. And as soon as they locked me in the lobby and closed the curtain, they're going to do the Aretha Franklin section. And Karen Clark Sheard performed it. You want to talk about some salt. Like, man, I'm telling you, my blood pressure was just another conversation. But, so great job, BET. Great, just overall everything. Everybody who presented, everybody who performed, everybody was great. Even Trey Songz, even though I was kind of saying my 2 cents, even his performance was decent. Just great. Congratulations to all the honorees. I'm out. Subscribe. Y'all have a great night.